Well, here we are with Alien Covenant. Now, I'm a massive Alien fan. Like, the Alien trilogy is my favourite trilogy of movies. It's my Star Wars. After Alien 3 it goes downhill. I know a lot of people don't like Alien 3, but I actually think it's a really good ending to the Ripley storyline. Hate Alien Resurrection. The Alien vs Predator movies are terrible. Even though I do get some enjoyment from the first one, I think there's just a base pleasure in seeing an alien and a predator fight each other. And I think there's potential with that concept if Fox had just invested the time and the money into doing something decent with it rather than treating it like a dumb video game movie. But I was excited to come in and see, a proper Alien movie back in the cinemas again. Before this movie came out, there was a poster released in the promotional material, which I absolutely love. It's a beautiful piece. I've actually printed it out and put it on the wall. I liked it so much. It's all these aliens writhing around, and they're wrapped around the engineers, and some of the engineers have got face huggers on, and there's an alien queen skull in the background, and this other alien kind of reaching up. And I printed it out and put it on my wall. I liked it so much. But I was worried coming into this film that if I don't like the film, that's going to kind of ruin the poster for me, because obviously I don't want a poster on the wall of a film I don't like. But luckily that poster actually has nothing to do with the film. At no point do engineers and aliens cross paths. There's no queen in it. None of the engineers get face hugged. So I was able to take that movie poster and still enjoy it as one of the best things to come out of this production, which I know is tipping my hat a bit early in this review. And anyone watching this who loved the film is probably thinking, oh, you're a wanker, and just going to turn it off, but hear me out. Now, I'm not particularly a fan of prequels in general as a concept. I mean, when has this ever really worked? When has there ever been a prequel that has been really satisfying? Especially for a horror franchise where fear is derived from what we don't understand. So to go back and over-explain everything, you're kind of ruining what made the original so good in the first place. And I now understand how Star Wars fans feel about those prequels. I'm as not a massive Star Wars fan, I can enjoy the prequels well enough, even though I recognise they're not as good as the originals. But I now feel the pain that Star Wars fans feel, because Ridley has come in and Lucased up the Alien franchise here with unsatisfying, needless explanations for everything. And this started off with Prometheus, when Ridley came in, and in Alien, the space jockey is an amazing design. It's so inhuman and unearthly, this elephantine creature that's biologically connected to and growing out of an interstellar vehicle. I mean, that's like nothing on Earth. That is so alien. And then Prometheus comes along and Ridley's like, it's just a bald albino dude in a spacesuit. I mean, how is that satisfying for anyone? That is ruinous to that design. You've just flushed that down the toilet and made it too human, kind of boring and mundane. And he does the same damn thing here with the xenomorphs, but I guess I should get to that chronologically as we go through the film. It starts off, this is a spoiler review, so I've seen it anyway, so I'm not going to go too much into every element of the plot, but there's this kind of strange James Franco cameo in the film, this kind of thankless role of existing purely so that we've got someone to kill off and make us care about the Daniels character. But I guess that's why they cast a known actor for that role, because as it is, I mean, it's kind of a pointless element to the plot other than to make us sympathise with the Daniels character. And if it was some completely unknown actor who died there within the first 2 minutes of the film, well, who gives a shit? But seeing as it's James Franco, there is at least an element of, no, James is dead, poor old Franco, So I guess that's why it's there. But I just found it kind of strange. I mean, he's not even in the promotional material much. He's in that sort of 3 or 4 minute prequel scene that was put on YouTube. Even in that, he doesn't really say or do very much. He just kind of goes to bed with a cold. But yeah, odd James Franco cameo there. The crew of the Covenant are in line with the crew of the Prometheus and the crew of that Arctic expedition from Alien vs Predator, where there's maybe 3 characters that are particularly memorable. For maybe the rest of them, they get one line of dialogue each just so you recognise them well enough when they get killed. Not that you're going to particularly care, because they only had one line of dialogue each. And it's really telegraphed when they're going to die as well. It kind of falls into that horror trope of, oh, I'm just going to go over here to the toilet, I'm just going to go over here and give my face a wash, I'll be right back. And you know they're brown bread, you know, they ain't coming back. And as I say, because we haven't had time to get to know these characters much anyway, they're just there to be cannon fodder for the aliens. But there wasn't anyone that was particularly unlikable, though. I didn't find them as irritating as some of the crew of the Prometheus. Even though they do make some dumb decisions, there's no one quite as bad as the guy who maps the area who then manages to get lost, or the guy who's afraid of everything but then sees a vicious looking snake alien and starts petting it like a kitten. There's no one that bad. They're all serviceable characters and likeable enough. But there's only really 3 characters that you're going to actually care about. And then that in itself is sort of a problem, because it telegraphs who's going to survive. There's no surprise about who survives the film. It's telegraphed right from the beginning who the main characters are. The only likeable, capable characters, they're the ones that survive. And one of the good things about Alien was that they didn't telegraph that Ripley was the lead character and that she would be the main survivor. It's kind of a surprise when we get there. It shows her character develop as the film progresses into the heroine, into the survivor. It's not telegraphed right from the start. This is the main character, she's always right, she knows everything, she's the most capable one. And whenever they're making these rip-off characters of Ripley, these rip-offlies as I like to call them, you've got, one in Alien vs Predator, you've got one in Alien vs Predator Requiem, who's running around with her kids pretending to be Ripley and Newt. You've got Shaw to a degree in Prometheus, and they always overly push these characters forward, and so there's no surprise in it. I was kind of hoping that the Daniels character would be killed off, not because I didn't like her, not because there's anything wrong with her, but I wanted the film to surprise me. And at one point it seemed like it was going to, because near the end of the film, when the digger thing is coming towards her to knock the alien off the ship, it looked like it was going to hit her as well, and I thought she's going to sacrifice herself to kill the alien, but no, she dives out of the way and is fine. And like I say, it's not because I didn't like her, and it's not ruinous to the film or anything, but it's just one of those things where I feel like surprise me, shock me a bit. Anyway, they get on the planet, and once again, this is me kind of nitpicking, this isn't ruinous to the film, but when they arrive on the planet, why don't they keep their spacesuits on? Even though there's oxygen on the planet, don't go out there with that spacesuit on. If you're on an alien world, there's going to be bacteria and microbes that our bodies, that our immune systems have never been exposed to, that we're not going to be able to deal with. And the obvious thing happens, within 5 minutes of stepping foot on the planet, 2 of them are down. And it's, well, no shit, put your freaking space helmet on. And that was the one moment where I was taken back to the idiots from Prometheus. But it's still, I was going along with the film well enough. I thought it was a fun enough, enjoyable enough movie. And then things start to niggle at me. I wasn't a massive fan of Prometheus, and I wasn't that invested in the Shaw character. However, that doesn't mean I just want it completely disregarded. If you're going to make a follow-up to that film, then I want to know what happened to Shaw. I want to know what was going on with the engineers. What was their plan? Why did they seed the universe with life? Why did they want to kill us? Why did they make this black goo? What the hell is the black goo? And if you're coming into this as a fan of Prometheus, a real fan, and you want to see those themes developed, get that shit right out your head. It is thrown under the bus. The engineers are here for about 2 minutes. I don't think it's even that, actually. I think it's maybe a 1 minute scene where it's like, they're dead, moving on. And then we do find out what happens to Shaw, but not in any real detail, considering she was the main character of the last film. Why did David kill her? How did he kill her? Why was he experimenting on her? What did those experiments accomplish? Who cares? She's dead. Moving on. I mean, it's just really thrown under the bus, and I would imagine that would annoy fans of Prometheus. It annoyed me, and I'm not even particularly a fan of Prometheus, but I don't like, even if there's something in the film I don't like, I don't want it to just be ignored. It's not quite as bad as this, but it reminded me of in Transformers 3, when there were some really irritating characters in Transformers 2, but then in the third film they've just disappeared. No one mentions them or references them again, and you think, well, it makes it seem like sloppy storytelling and like a real disregard for what you're even doing. Like you've got disregard for the story you're telling if you can just toss it aside like that. Now really at this point Prometheus feels kind of pointless, other than that it introduced us to David, who is in this movie, and he's the one character, the one thing from Prometheus that does get built upon here. Now I really liked David in Prometheus. I liked the ambiguity of his character, but that's all out the window now as well. I mean, he's like a Saturday morning cartoon villain at this point. He just wants to make monsters and use them to destroy everything for reasons. I mean, I get his motivations, but I don't get how his motivations lead him to this conclusion that it's a good idea to just create monsters and destroy the world. But fair enough. You know, I didn't really like that they've taken him down that route, but I was still going with it just because he's, you know, Fassbender does a good job with the role, and he's got dual roles here as well as with Walter. But where the film loses me, and I've been dreading this shit ever since the end of Prometheus, I could see where they were going with this, and I kept hoping they wouldn't. And then in the promotional material for Covenant, they seemed to be going down that route, and I still came into this movie hoping that they wouldn't be so stupid as to do this. But just as they completely screwed over the space jockey, they have now done that with the alien. In a reasonably throwaway scene, David explains to the captain of the Covenant that while tinkering in his lab, he made these alien eggs. There you go. There's your origin for the aliens. David made it in his lab. A human robot made the alien 10 years or 50 years or whatever before the events of Alien with the Nostromo crew. It's no longer this ancient beast that evolved on some hellish, Giger-esque world in the depths of space thousands of years ago, waiting for us to stumble upon it in the dark depths of space. No, it was just created a few years before the events of Alien by this human robot. I don't get how anyone could find this satisfying, especially as a hardcore, like if you're just a casual Alien fan, yeah, whatever. The way I feel about the Star Wars prequels, yeah, it's dumb, but I still have fun with those films. But for anyone who's a real Alien fan and who gets that first movie and what made that first movie so mysterious and so intriguing, how does this satisfy anyone? This is awful. This is the worst possible thing you could do. The more you connect the alien to the humans, the less alien it becomes. You're throwing away the whole concept of the alien. It's fucking alien. It was bad enough in Alien vs Predator when they said that the alien had been living on Earth for thousands of years in the Antarctic. You know, after Ripley it had been such a big deal to Ripley, we mustn't let the alien get to Earth, no, it'd be the apocalypse. Oh, well actually they've been living on Earth for thousands of years, everything's fine, no big deal. This is even worse, connecting it to humans. It just boggles my mind that Ridley thought this was a good idea. But the thing is, I don't think Ridley really likes the alien. He said this when he was making Prometheus. He thinks the alien's been done to death. He didn't want to do that, but he's kind of been forced to because that's what the fans wanted, and that's obviously what the studio wants to please the fans. And I feel that you can tell that he doesn't particularly like the alien, and he's just kind of thrown this in there like, oh, okay, then yeah, well, David made the aliens, move it on. Because there was an interview released about a day after the film was released, where on YouTube, where Ridley's very matter-of-fact about it, and he's so blasé about it, you're like, oh yeah, David made the aliens, that's that then. And you can tell he doesn't give a shit. So why come back to the Alien franchise? Why is he seems quite desperate to come back to his baby, like none of the other movies were satisfying and only he can tell the story, and then he pulls this shit. Like he does not get what made that first movie so good. Maybe it was a fluke that he made that, because as I say, he's screwed up the space jockey, he's now screwed up the xenomorph. He wants to make like 6 of these damn movies. So by the time you get like, it's felt special in the first film that that crew, this crew of Joe Blogg's space truckers, stumbled upon this amazing discovery, which ended up being absolutely terrifying. There's something about that concept as well that makes it feel real and makes it feel scary, that we could just stumble upon it. To find out that humans have been interacting with the alien 6-7 times already beforehand makes Alien less of a big deal. No, people say, you know, if there's a bad sequel or a bad prequel or whatever, or a bad remake, it doesn't tarnish the original, you can still go back and enjoy the original. But the thing is, it kind of does tarnish it, you know. I can't watch Alien now when it gets to the scene with the space jockey without thinking, oh, now they're saying that that's just some albino dude in a spacesuit. And it's going to be the same with the Alien now. I can't go back and watch an Alien movie and erase from my head that they want to tell me that David made the damn things. This Saturday morning cartoon villain. It's just, and by having this happen, having this, you know, cartoony evil villain create the aliens, once again, I feel like that's taking away from what made the original trilogy so good, is that those films felt realistic. Even though it's set in the future and in space and with alien monsters and things, all the characters felt real, the technology felt real. I could imagine this being a future world where this happens. Where, you know, this greedy company find out about it and they think they can make money from it. But when you get a character like the way David's now being written, and it's all become overly dramatic and this master grand plan of evil, you're making it feel less like a realistic world. And this is something that bothered me about Prometheus as well, with the black goo. It's, you know, the alien life cycle had seemed quite realistic and something believable in the original movies, but then once you've got, you know, this magical black goo that can just do anything and everything the writers want it to at any given point, it descends into sort of magic and doesn't have that that realism to it that I like in the originals. And so there's all these things Ridley's doing, even though he's got this arrogance about him when it comes to the Alien franchise, like only he can do it right, and yet he's just systematically ruining everything that I loved about Alien, goddammit. And by that point in the film, once that reveal came out, I had this well of anger flow through me, and I was completely checked out for the rest of the film. I was just so incensed by it all. But luckily for me, the rest of the movie is quite predictable anyway, because it's basically just the ending of Alien and Aliens rehashed again. You know, the alien gets on board the ship and they have to blow out the goddamn airlock. Job done. And, you know, as with the characters being predictable, this bit being predictable kind of bothered me as well, because, like, even if I was invested in the film, I think this point would have still kind of bored me. Even though this is where the action really kicks in with the alien, it's still, you know, you know what's going to happen. They're going to blow out the airlock. They're going to do what they did in Alien and Aliens again. So that was just this sort of unsatisfying ending to an unsatisfying film for me. And I'd been going with it well enough up until the point of this lame explanation for the alien. So it's hard for me to say. I don't think it's a terrible movie. It's a perfectly adequate, fine movie. But it's just, for my tastes personally in this franchise, it was awful. And it's done the worst possible thing it could have done. I feel like there are elements in this movie from all three of the original Alien movies, even Alien 3, surprisingly. I swear there's a music cue from Alien 3 near the end of Covenant, which took me aback. I wasn't expecting that. But even the whole ending scene of the Shaw, you know, running through the ship trying to lure the alien while Walter/David is, you know, shutting off the doors behind to try and funnel the alien where they want it to go. That's straight out of the end of Alien 3. Which I'm fine with, you know, because I like Alien 3, but it was just funny to see that they were, I don't know necessarily homaging it, but definitely taking some ideas from that at least, and also showing the alien's vision in it as it was running through the corridor. That's something that they originally did in Alien 3 as well. But also there was a sequel comic book series to Prometheus called Fire and Stone, published by Dark Horse Comics, and it's actually really good. It amalgamates Aliens, Predator, Alien vs Predator and Prometheus all into one story, and does a hell of a better job with the concept of Alien vs Predator than the movies do. And I'd say it does a better job with the Prometheus concepts than this movie does as well. But there were elements of that in this film too. I swear that the writers for this film must have read that comic book series, at least one of them. I don't think it can be coincidence that there are some similarities with you know, the android who connects with and somewhat communicates with the aliens, and this crew coming onto this you know, sort of forest filled planet, you know, with black goo, mutated alien life and all that. Now there's a scene where David and Walter start fighting each other, and it really took me aback because it felt so out of place when they start pulling nigh on martial arts moves out on each other. I mean, they're not just sort of randomly swinging punches. They both seem to really know how to fight. I mean, who programmed these robots how to fight? Why would you program the robot to kick your ass? Fair enough if they were bodyguards or part of the military unit, but they're science officers. Why do they need to know how to fight? It's not a bad scene or anything. It was you know, kind of a fun scene, but it just I kind of felt a bit jarring, and like it didn't really suit the tone of the film up to that point. Now, one of the complaints people had about Prometheus was that the alien wasn't in it and it didn't feel like an alien movie, but I kind of feel like this doesn't really feel like an alien movie either. If you've seen the trailer, you've pretty much seen all the appearances of the alien. Like, it's really not in it very much. This is a film about David and continuing his story, and then an alien is kind of thrown in near the end just to please the alien fans, just so they can say this is an alien movie. But it's still, the aliens aren't really the focus of the film, and unfortunately for me, when the aliens are injected into the film, it's in a way that I completely hate. So it's, you know, I guess it is a stepping stone from Prometheus to Alien, so it does kind of make sense that it's not focusing on the alien too much as it is. But once again, that might not be satisfying for some people coming into this hoping that we were going to get a, you know, balls to the wall alien movie, because this isn't that. Now, one thing I'd always wanted to see in an Alien sequel, and where I feel the series should have gone after Alien 3, is to visit the alien homeworld, you know, maybe, because at the end of Aliens, I don't think that explosion destroyed the whole planetoid. I think it just destroyed Hadley's Hope. So that derelict space jockey ship could still be there. So the company, you know, could find that and trace where it last landed before it crashed, and go and find the alien homeworld, you know, and that could have been amazing to see this Giga-esque landscape, this dark, hellish planet of the aliens with the hives everywhere and the Queen, and just, it could have been pretty epic. And then that could lead on to another sequel where the alien finally gets to Earth, and you could have had this apocalyptic war movie almost, with just aliens swarming the landscape. Obviously set it in the future, don't set it in present day small town America like the Alien vs Predator movies did, but I feel like there's something that could have been cool with that. Maybe it's just me. Those would have been my ideas for a sequel if I was able to pitch to Hollywood. But so I feel robbed now that we will never see the alien homeworld, because there is no alien homeworld. The alien homeworld is David's laboratory. I mean, why Hollywood can't make sequels anymore? Marvel seem to be the only studio that can do it, that can continue a franchise without getting 3 movies in and running out of ideas and having to go back and rehash things, or you know, reboot it or do prequels. And one thing that they didn't do, which I was worried about, and a lot of people were, you know, this kind of a fan theory coming up, that Shaw was going to be the first alien queen, that David was going to experiment on her and turn her into a queen. And they at least didn't do that, because, as I kind of hinted at earlier, the more you connect the alien to humans, the less mysterious it becomes, the less alien it becomes. So I don't want the first alien, the queen alien, to be a mutated human. That is just horrendously awful to me. That is fanfic kind of stuff, bad fanfic. But at least they didn't go that route. But everything else I was concerned about them doing, they did. Well, thanks for watching, and hopefully you enjoyed the movie more than I did. This is Lieutenant Rod, signing off.